What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the No Gimmicks podcast here on the DFPM. Thank you for everybody for subscribing. Just for you guys, we got a treat for you tonight. Fabulous Frankie D, you did it again, man. You did it again. So we're gonna keep on our Legend series. Tonight we have a very, very special guest joining us. The first Black Intercontinental Champion, one of the crowd favorites. Right before we got into this, was like kicking off the Attitude Era.
Yeah, he came in around the new generation.
Yep.
Of the WWF. Yeah,
and one of the names, like to this day, when you say his name, it brings you back to a time period. I remember hearing we got this interview and I was like, damn, man, like I remember exactly where I was when I heard of the Pearl River Plunge, bro. And like everything, the music, the crowd, how the crowd just engaged toward him. And we have him here today, man. So it's an honor and a pleasure to have him on the show. Everybody welcome Mr. Ahmed Johnson to No Gimmicks. How you doing, sir?
What's up, bro?
Hey, man, thank you for your time. Appreciate you for coming on.
What's up, Big Frank?
What's going on, man? How you doing, boss man?
Same old.
Right. Yeah, you know what? Been a big fan of yours for many years. Saw you in Anaheim, California at a WWF house show that you were on. And people don't understand just how over Ahmed Johnson was in the WWF in the mid '90s. Yeah, in the mid '90s. Like people just don't understand. Like I say it all the time. Like there's the Goldbergs and all these different people, but nobody had that intensity.
No, they tried though. They tried to be Ahmed Johnson, but they couldn't do it.
Right, couldn't duplicate
the intensity I had was deep down in my soul, man. They can't reach that.
No, man. But that's the thing. So like there was Goldberg, but then there was you before that, bro. And it was nothing nobody had ever seen before. It was the presentation. It was like when they see you, it's like, God, dog, like this guy's a power. And that's how they built you as a powerhouse. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and you couldn't help but the intensity, you couldn't help but gravitate towards it.
And on top of that, if you look at the locker room, man, when you were there in the WWF at the time, it was a very, the guys were a lot smaller. You know, you had Bret Hart there, you had Shawn Michaels there, but then you had a couple standouts like yourself, Psycho Sid, Kevin Nash as Diesel. You know, you had Razor Ramon, Big Ben. Yep, Vader was there. I think at the time too, they brought Warrior back as well and all that. Yeah. But you were there in the clubs for that, but your career actually started a little bit before that. You started right here in Texas as part of Global.
Yeah, I'm Pusky trained me.
Okay. So you went through this school, the wrestling school, with two notable names. Considered one of the best tag teams ever. That's Booker T and Stevie Ray. You went through that with them, right?
We all went to school together, man.
Wow. How was that?
It was cool. Me and Booker didn't get along. You know, once he got out of prison, we didn't get along at all, man. I don't know if he was jealous because I was, being Stevie's backup for all them years or what his deal was. But I think he was just jealous, man.
Wow. It's funny. You know what? I'm gonna keep it 1,000, man. Like just hearing some of the stories about Booker T, I kind of soured on Booker T a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought Booker did a lot in WCW, during that time, during the Monday Night War. But just hearing some of the stories, bro, like hearing I can't. You remember when we was at the Rumble at the Alamo Dome this year? I'm like, I ain't even pop for.
My reaction to Booker T is his on Instagram.
Yeah,
my reaction is on Instagram
because it's like my thing is this, man. It's like when you were there, and I'm gonna just from what I saw, okay, you were pretty much the only black wrestler they had in the federation at the time that they were
Thank
pushing.
you for saying that. Most people
Yeah.
don't realize that.
No, people don't realize that. You're the only black wrestler they were pushing. And then I remember when Ron Simmons comes in as Farouk Assad with the blue getup on, and he kicked the shit out of you.
Right.
You know, and messed you up. And I talked to somebody about this, and I'm like, you know, the way it used to be in the business, and maybe you can answer this, the way it used to be in the business is that if there was one black wrestler in the territory, another black wrestler would come in and be like, I want that spot. So they'll take him out. This dude came in, and I'm a Ron Simmons fan. I'm a Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons, the first black heavyweight champion, WCW.
Right.
Hell of an accomplishment. You know, I'm not taking it away from him, but I'm calling it like I see it. When you were at the top of your game as the Intercontinental Champion, on your way to being the WWF Champion, he cut that shit short.
Yes, he did.
And that was, to me, that was targeted. And I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well,
that's what I was going to ask.
He said on the podcast that he was jealous. He did admit that he was jealous when he gave me that kick. So, you know, after the kick, you know, we kind of, you know, I gave him that slam through the table at the Chicago street fight.
Right.
And it broke his rib, and then his rib punctured his lung.
Shit.
So I was trying to get some payback for what he did to me.
Right.
And do you feel like your career would have been different had that not happened to you?
Yes, totally different.
Wow.
Yeah, because after that, I remember you were there. I mean, it took a long time for you guys to recover. And I'm going to be honest with you, I love the angle you guys are doing, because I remember you on Live Wire, and you know, you were putting them over, like, you know, Heisman Trophy winner and all this different stuff. And you're like, but you from the streets and I'm from the streets, and we can get it going if you want to get it going. So I was watching stuff. I'm like, I'm into it.
You down with that, huh?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hey,
man.
I'm not gonna lie, as a black person, I was like, yeah, let's go to the streets.
Right.
That's why I think they should have took it to the street. That's why they did that Chicago street fight.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it was such good stuff. But at the same time, watching it, man, and just seeing where you were at the time in the WWF, and then just to see your momentum, just like, damn. And it's like, to me, honestly, you never recovered after that. And no. and then don't want to jump ahead, but then I remember they put you in a match. You were feuding with the Undertaker. This is when they turned you heel, and you actually joined the Nation of Domination. Which, I'm gonna be honest with you, as a black man, seeing 4 black dudes out there, you, D'Lo, Kama, and Ron Simmons, and you out there, you know. Y'all are just jacked, dude. Like, you walking down the street, like, you know what? You see these dudes coming, you gonna get out the way. You feel me? We had the NWO, right?
Right.
Y'all was just militant, and you had it. And it's like, I don't think anybody realized how you could turn it on as a heel, because you had been the babyface. But
right.
you didn't really change anything. The only thing you changed was your gear turned to black. Red, you know what I'm saying? It was just the same. It was the same thing, and you went out there, you nailed it, and you feuded with Taker, like the whole thing with Undertaker, like that was good stuff, really good stuff.
Well, we had a meeting with Vince, man, and when he was taking me out the Nation, I only stayed there a month or two.
Yeah,
and then they jumped me out, and when we went to Vince, he called us up to his office, and went up there. And he said, y'all have to see, I want to show you something. And he put in a tape of us 4 walking down the runway. He said, now who am I going to get to believe that y'all can be beat?
Right.
He said, I can't get nobody else over with all 4 of y'all. And that was cool, you know, because he realized that. Yeah. And he's like, the only person who can beat the Nation is Ahmed. So it was me against the Nation, you know, the whole time I was there, just about.
Right. That is a tough sell, because I'm like Frank. Seeing that was like, oh yeah, we here.
It's the same thing with me when I was a kid, because I was like, when this whole thing was going down, I was 12 years old. So 12, 13 years old. So I'm watching this stuff, and I'm like, okay, it's two groups that like I wouldn't mess with, right? It was the Nation of Domination with Ahmed was in it, and it was Harlem Heat.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mess those two. Nah, I wouldn't go there. So it's just, but it was cool to see um, black men getting the push.
Right.
That was what was cool about it. But I just think, man, it's like if you hadn't gotten that injury, where would you have gone? Especially when the business was about to explode. I mean, the WWF kind of, they were losing that war against WCW because of the NWO angle. But you, on the other hand, you were over. You were just as over as Shawn Michaels on that card, just as over as Bret Hart on that card. Stone Cold Steve Austin was getting there, but he wasn't there yet.
Right.
But you were there, and then this dude comes in and just shuts you down, man. Like, I want that spot. That's how I look at it. I want that spot.
Right.
Exactly.
Do you think that had that not happened, y'all had an opportunity to do business?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But that little incident just messed it all up, man.
Yeah, because that it screams money.
Because after that, I didn't trust him in the ring after he kicked me in my kidney. I didn't trust him in the ring anymore after that. You know what I'm saying? So he was stiff, I got stiff. But of course, you ain't going to hear about me being stiff, not him. And what he did, he fell in line with the rest of them boys who, man, it's too rough. He's doing too slick. He's doing this. He's doing that. And it was just because they were scared to get in the ring with me. Because they knew I wasn't for the bull.
Did you ever have any instances where people would go to like Vince McMahon or somebody like that and actually complain on you and try to like stop? Like let's just say, for instance, if you were doing a program with someone and they say, okay, and they were a member, like, I don't know, you were working with Triple H or somebody like that, and Triple H is real close to Shine. Would Shine go back and say something to Vince about, hey, this dude's too rough? Kind of like we did to Vader and squash Vader's push.
Right.
Yes. Shawn Michaels stopped me from getting the world belt, man, because they were going to give it to me. What they were going to do was I was going to have a match with Undertaker, and then Shawn's going to have a match with Undertaker. Shawn's going to be Undertaker, then going to set me and Shawn up for the world belt.
Oh, my God. That
Shawn Michaels went to Vince McMahon and told him that he didn't think that the audience was ready for a black champion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, just thinking of that matchup right now, back then would have been crazy.
It would have gave the WWF the jump it needed because it would have been something different. I mean, look what they did at WCW. Look at Watts, and let's keep it 1,000. Bill Watts, everybody knows Bill Watts. Mm-hmm. Bill Watts had his biggest star in Mid-South was Junkyard Dog. All right. He the only reason why they put the belt, and this is not, I'm not knocking Ron Simmons or anybody, but I've talked about this Taylor on a bunch of times. The reason they put the belt on Ron Simmons to begin with was because the NAACP was complaining about Turner not having any black champions. That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at it at the time, you were because the only other prominent black superstar that had been in the WWF, there was Bad News Allen, Bad News Brown, and then Tiny Lister, Zeus. Those are the only two that I remember. Then Coco Beware.
But they were all gimmicks, though.
They were gimmicks.
Yeah.
You weren't a gimmick. You were the Pearl River Plunge, Pearl River, Mississippi. That guitar that it hits. And you come out there, you got you're oiled down and got the water, and you just you ain't giving no fives, you ain't kissing no babies, you just go in there and you kill somebody.
I'm walking in and I'm whooping ass and I'm leaving.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you were the prototype.
And the thing about it was when they hired me, they never told me if I was a babyface or a heel. Vince said, let's just go out there and see how the crowd reacts to you. Right. And I walked out there, they popped. And even my first dark match, the crowd went crazy when we finished. They gave me and Rico a standing ovation when we finished.
Rico Suave.
Yeah, Rico Suave. You remember Rico Suave?
That's a name, man.
They gave us a standing ovation, man. The crowd did. And that was the first match of the night. and the boys were all behind the curtain and looking, and you could see the jealousy on their faces.
Wow.
But
I
I
remember.
have to be honest and tell you this, like you said,
Yeah.
keeping it 100. When I first got there, man, the people that would hold me down the most was the brothers. I mean,
Yeah.
they would complain and say Ahmed did this, Ahmed did that, and just man, nothing they can prove. But the brothers did the worst damage to me than anybody.
Wow. Wow. Why is that? Because looking at your life, I noticed that you were in the army. So did your
Right,
army carry over like any like how you a lot of us, even me, like coming from the military to the outside world, I noticed that we are a lot more professional. Like we just have our ducks in a
right.
row. Does that seem to piss people off?
It,
Like
it
knowing that
does.
you have your stuff in order and you move a certain way. Did that rub anybody the wrong way, you think? And
Oh,
that's where the problems came from?
well, it ran Shawn Michaels wrong because Shawn Michaels back then, he had the clout that The Rock has now. Shawn
Right.
Michaels was running things back then. And he called me in the office one day and told me, Ahmed, I need you to stop doing them high flying moves. And I'm like, stop doing for what? He said, because when you do it at 350 pounds, then I do it, it doesn't have much meaning to it when I do it, close to 200 pounds. And man, that shit went into one ear and out though. That's why I kept doing it because he didn't want me doing it.
I get it. I get it. I totally get it. Thank you for your service too, by the way.
Thank you, bro.
So, but yeah, that noticing that is like I can relate to it because knowing that you move a certain way and it's the pursuit of excellence. Everybody does it. Everybody
Right,
knows what that is. Like you're trying to be the best you could be. So yeah, I can see how that rubs people the wrong way
right.
and how
And
that
I
may
went out
cause
there.
problems.
I went out there hurting people, man. They claim, but how many went to the hospital? Ron went to the hospital, but that was a receipt. I owed him that.
Right.
But none of them went to the hospital. None of them came out with bloody nose, bloody lips, and nothing like that. Man, they were just crying, trying to get me out of there. What they were trying to do.
Wow.
While you were going through this situation with all the jealousy that was going on at the WWF at the time, did you have any interest at all in maybe going to WCW?
No, I didn't, man. I was loyal to WWF, man. Strictly loyal to them.
To a fault almost.
Right,
Because that around that time would have been the time to get going if it wasn't right. Because they probably would have got you out of there real quick.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
they didn't like a black man holding the spot down like that, but brothers didn't like it either. So, I'm not saying just the white boys didn't like it. The black dudes didn't like it.
so have you heard the interviews with the likes of the Godfather, Mark Henry, and all these different guys that will basically just no uncertain terms just bury you, say that basically Ahmed Johnson didn't get it, and supposedly there was a fight between you and D'Lo Brown in the locker room where
Man,
D'Lo stretched you. I know you've heard these stories, so that's why I want to
well,
get you on
yeah.
here on No Gimmicks and clarify all
Please
this bullshit.
clarify this one.
First of all, if D'Lo would have beat me in the locker room, don't you know every dirt sheet, every paper, every body in the back, the boys would have been talking about it. But
Right.
nobody said that but the nation. As in Saudi will tell you.
Oh shit.
So Baker will tell you it didn't happen. Nobody's seen this but Mark, and D'Lo and Farouk.
Right.
And
Now it makes sense because yeah.
that was just some more of their bull, man, trying to get me down, trying to get over, And
So
it's
it's like,
funny, the rumors
yeah,
didn't start until after I left. If you notice that, nobody
yeah.
said that happened when I was wrestling. Nobody said I was stiffing them while I was wrestling. When I left is when most of the complaints came and all this back and forth, talking about I've been up in the locker room and man, give me a break. If D'Lo would have beaten the locker room, they'd have pushed him instead of me. I wish D'Lo Brown would try something like that, man.
Yeah, he said he loves you, but you just didn't get it.
He said he loved me.
He said he loves you, but you just didn't get it. That's what he said. It wasn't. That's what he said. It's like they tell the same story about you just not getting it. Matter of fact, before we started this, I was on the YouTube and I saw an interview with the Godfather, Charles Wright, and he said basically that Vince was a mark for your body, and that was it. He's like big muscle guy. Well, he said, quote unquote, fake big muscle guy is what he said. Whatever the hell that means, and. Yeah, that's what he said. I don't know what that means, but that's what he said.
I don't know what it means either.
Yeah, so I don't know, but they say they just say he didn't get it. And he said they tried. They said they tried with you in the Nation of Domination. It didn't work. They put you out of the Nation, brought Rocky in the Nation.
You know, they should tell the truth why it didn't work. Vince counseled that, not me.
Yeah,
and they should be honest about that. That was Vince's job, counseling the Nation program, and I see why he did, and I agreed with him.
Yeah,
you know.
Did you do you feel after? Because I'm just going to be honest with you. After you were in the Nation, you came back. You got the injury. I remember you hurt your hand. You hurt your hand during a match with The Rock. But I just felt like the momentum was gone with the crowd. Like I watch a lot of this stuff on the network now, on the WWE Network, and you watch these shows, and it's like the by the time 97 gets around, the pops are mild for Ahmed Johnson, and I just feel like you got screwed, bro. They squandered you. If you look back on that, that's what I can see it right there. They had something, and they squandered it. And you can see it.
A lot of that was due to the talk backstage.
Yeah.
You know, going back telling Vince this, that, and other, and so on. But most of the talk backstage was bull, because when I went to WCW as Big T, I was out of shape. I wasn't wanting to wrestle no more. I gave it all up. And then Stevie called me and asked me to come tag with him. And I was like, no, man, I can't do that. I'm not in shape. But then Vince Russo called me, and we set up a meeting, and they talked me into doing it.
Yeah.
But I was a Big T, man. I didn't want to wrestle no more after Big T.
Yeah, you had lost love for it.
Yeah.
No, you can tell. You can tell when you showed up
as Big T.
As Big T, people were shocked because you came in as part of Harlem Heat 2000.
Right.
So
I'm not gonna lie to you. I marked all the way the fuck out for that.
It was good shit.
When I saw it, I marked out. I was like, oh my God, yes. Yes.
Yeah, but by the time you got there, unfortunately, by the time you got to WCW, the tide had turned. It wasn't like what it was before back during when you were in the WWF, they were hot. Now you come in and Russo, and it's the Russo Bischoff administration. You're in the middle of the New Blood angle.
Yeah.
Harlem Heat 2000, you got your feuding with Booker T. There's a lot of goofy stuff going on. But I thought as a unit, as a package, man, y'all were badass. But as you can tell by looking at your face and just your reactions being there,
just wasn't in it.
You didn't want to be there. It wasn't the same. Like your Big T, you're Tony Norris, we know that. But Big T comes in, and you think about Ahmed Johnson, like, oh, here comes Ahmed Johnson, but it's not the same. Ahmed Johnson. It's you're heavier. You put on a lot more weight at this point because like you say, you didn't want to. They called you. You didn't call them looking for a job. They called you to say, hey, we want to bring you in for this for this angle, and you come in WCW, and it just didn't work. And I remember they were trying to do something with you at the end there when you guys broke up Harlem Heat 2000, and you were gone. After that, it was it.
And the person that didn't want me there was Booker T. He was the only one with Bischoff complained that he didn't want me to come in because he thought I was going to steal some of his heat.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, like I said, man, it's the brothers that did the most damage.
And you know what? Because it means more coming from them.
Huh?
It meant more. It meant more coming from them.
Yeah.
Like it hurt more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like they're going to management. It's one of our own. We don't even want them here.
Exactly.
Well, that's how it goes, bro. That's what I was saying earlier. It's like if you look back to the business, there's only so many black guys on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's just what it was. Like I heard the stories of Bill Watts, and you would have Ernie Ladd in there or whatever, and say, "Oh, how many ends we got on the card tonight?" You know what I'm saying? That's the way that's how they thought. You know what I'm saying?
When I got in there, Bill Watts tried to name me Buck.
Oh shit.
That's crazy.
He tried to name me Buck.
That is crazy.
Vince told him no. That wasn't happening. You know, Buck was a slave. They used slaves and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just like the Harlem Heat went in WCW, they getting out. It was called the Runaways, and they had
came out on chains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, had Colonel Parker leading them out.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was so racist, man. It's a very racist business.
One question that I did have, speaking of Ahmed Johnson, you and Vince created Ahmed Johnson, correct?
Right.
So did you know when you created this name that it was gonna be so over with the Muslim community? Because it was.
I didn't. You ain't lying. When I went to Kuwait, man, the fans went crazy. And I was, listed as the main eventer, and we sold that stadium, a big soccer stadium. We sold it out.
Yeah, you won the Kuwaiti Cup.
Yeah, them Muslims were all about Ahmed, man. They were about nothing else but Ahmed. But it's the same thing happened in Africa and even in Germany.
It's just a big name abroad.
Yeah, they just came out, to see Ahmed Johnson,
Wow.
So what exactly led to your departure from the WWF?
Well, my place was sick, very sick.
Mm-hmm.
She was dying of cancer, and and they had the angle worked out to where I was supposed to be lynched by the Truth Commission.
Wow.
A South African group. Apartheid just got done with South Africa with apartheid.
Yep.
And they wanted me to be lynched on national TV. Man, I couldn't go for that.
Nah.
Hell no.
I couldn't go for that.
No, but you know later on, okay, it's funny you bring that up. Because later on somebody was lynched on WWF television. It was Boss Man. WrestleMania 15, Boss Man. Undertaker hung a noose around his neck from the Hell in a Cell.
Yep. But that's what they wanted to do to me, man. Was hang me.
They out their damn mind.
And
that would not have gone over well.
It's like they got no idea what we've been through.
Yeah.
And that just made me mad when they wanted to lynch me, man.
Yeah. I don't even know why they really can.
Those two things are the reason I walked away from WWF.
Wow.
I don't even know why they would even conceive an idea like that. Like who gets over doing that? It's like that angle they did with Terry Reynolds with the miscarriage. Who gets over? Like, how many tickets is that going to sell? Like, is that like
exactly?
You know what I mean? Right.
At the time, it's like let's capitalize because they did a lot of that. Let's capitalize on something wild and ridiculous, like when Flying Brian died, they brought his wife on television, like stuff like that. And it's just like we don't need the shock TV, but lynching a black man is like crazy. That's the craziest idea.
Well, the crazy part about it is they have the balls to come up to Ahmed Johnson and say, "Hey, we got a hell of a creative idea for you tonight. We're gonna have the South Militant group here, the Truth Commission, and they're gonna tie a noose around you, and we're gonna hang you on Monday Night Raw."
Ain't that a trip?
No wonder they were getting their asses. No wonder they were getting their asses destroyed by WCW.
Yeah.
That and losing your sister, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that'd have took me out the game. I got to go.
I went to Vince's office, man, at the arena we was at, And I asked him, was, that true they were going to lynch me? And he said, well, yeah, it's an angle we want to get over. I said, no. We didn't argue. We didn't fight. I just got my bag and left.
So, I mean, at this point, I remember they did you did an angle on Raw with Stone Cold Steve Austin, where you came out there. I mean, Austin had Stone Cold stunned you the week before. So you came out there, you did an angle with Austin, and then it was supposed to be a match. But you said in that promo, because all the fans at this point, they were on Steve Austin's side, they were booing you, and that's when you said, I don't need fans. And it goes back to what you said a little while ago when you said Vince never said you're going to be a babyface or a heel. So it didn't matter. You said, I don't need fans. I've been on my own since I was 13, on my own, doing my thing. So I was actually looking forward to the match that was supposed to happen later on Raw, and it didn't happen. You got laid out by Kane.
Right. Steve Austin was another one that I heard didn't want to work me. But we worked together in Kuwait. Me and Steve did. Where I beat him in Kuwait, And I don't know, man. It was just some bad blood around there, man.
Well, dude, I mean, it's just that you hear the stories from so many wrestlers that were in that era. It was a Shark Tank, man. It's just you hear the stories of Triple H jealous of The Rock, Shawn Michaels and him jealous of The Rock, Punk and The Rock backstage, trying to hold him down. The Clique, because when you came in, that's another thing I was asking you. When you came in, the Clique were still there, very prevalent in the
very active,
very active. So how was that? You know what I mean? Did you have any interactions with the Clique at all?
No, none. Let me tell you something. When I got there, I knew I was green, okay? And I figured one of the boys would take me under the wings, one of the brothers would take me under the wings and, show me the ropes and stuff. And the reason I say that I didn't get it, because I didn't go out drinking with them, I didn't go out smoking with them, I didn't go party with them. And then they say, he was difficult. That's why they said I was difficult.
Because you stayed to yourself.
Yeah, I stayed myself. And then I had the show where Ultimate Warrior came, and Ultimate Warrior was going to the locker room, and then he called me. He said, Ahmed, come to get dressed with me, because he had his own private locker room. And I couldn't get dressed with Ultimate Warrior, and he hit me to the game big time, man. Big time. He said, they did the same thing to me. They were jealous of me. They didn't want me to get over because I don't hang out with the boys. And to them, that's you not getting it.
You hear a lot of crap about Warrior, but what Warrior did for you there, he actually did the same thing for Kamala. I forgot about Kamala.
Oh
Kamala
man, that was
another one.
Story there, man.
Yeah, it sure was. Like that. That was bull. That was straight bullshit. But Warrior had Kamala stay with him, like riding his limo and all that. He says, "Hey, you can ride with me, brother, because Vince is paying for all this stuff, so I don't mind." And just hearing the stories back in the day about Kamala, had to be separate over here from everybody else, and it's just like, it's whatever. But
the thing about it was, with Kamala he did a match. I won't say the person he did a match with, but he did a match, and that person got paid $1 million because they was main event.
Oh yeah, it was
$1 million, and guess what Kamala got? 5,000.
Yeah, that was Undertaker. That was at that was SummerSlam '92.
Yep.
And all poor Kamala got was $5,000, man. And because they knew he. I talked to him maybe a month before he passed, and brother, he was hurting so bad until he went out and he said that he's hunting squirrels for something to eat.
Jeez.
He was doing just that bad, man, and not one person reached out to him, and they still ain't got him in the Hall of Fame.
That's sad.
Well, we all know the deal with the Hall of Fame, man. It's whoever Vince likes today. That's who goes to the Hall of Fame.
Well, I call it the Hall of Shame, man.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, you're not even in there. That's a travesty. that you're not.
Exactly. First black champion, and I'm not in there.
Yeah, he's not. Ahmed Johnson's not in there. Sid Vicious ain't in there. Like all these dudes
not in there.
Yeah. What's that?
Owen.
Well, Owen's not going to go in. We already know why Owen's
We
not
know
gonna
that.
go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Owen's wife said he's not going to let. Owen's wife said that she don't want him in the Hall of Fame, and he didn't want to be in that Hall of Fame. Because they say it was the Hall of Shame. You let Ted Turner get in the Hall of Fame, and not Owen Hart. Come on, man.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Exactly. What did Ted? I mean, not Ted Turner. Donald Trump, when he came and did that haircut match, and that's all he did, and he made the Hall of Fame from that. Come on, man.
Yeah, he's in what is it? The celebrity wing, I guess, of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they say, well, what is that? Well, they'll say, well, Donald Trump's always had a relationship with the company. You know, they WrestleMania 4 and 5 were at Trump Plaza back in the day. Atlanta City, so he did that or whatever. But does that constitute to say, oh yeah, well, you can go in the Hall of Fame, but hey, Bad News Island, you didn't really do nothing over here, so we're not going to put you in it. You know what I'm saying? Right. Sid Vicious, you didn't do nothing. Lex Luger, you didn't do nothing. Right. Hey, we'll put Barry Windham in, but you come in as a horseman, not on your own.
But they can't say I didn't do nothing because like I said, if I had got that belt, okay, and I was out drinking and doing drugs and smoking, dog, they would have shitted all over me, and every black wrestler would come after that.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I carried the belt well. And that's when Vince got the bright idea, hey, we can push a black wrestler. And I won the belt in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And it was like, out of all places, you win the belt. I won it. And they popped big time, man.
Well, it's no different than like you go back and watch when Ron Simmons won the WCW belt, they popped big time. Like it was black people and white people out there celebrating this situation because it's something you don't see.
Exactly.
It's a big thing. Now it happens. It's not really a big deal anymore because you get black shamers all the time. We've seen that with Bobby Lashley. Right. You've seen that with Big E. You've seen that with The Rock. Booker T, Mark Henry. The list goes on and on. All these people. So I ask you. So what's your opinion of Mark Henry? Because Mark Henry is another one who says you just.
You know what? It's funny. He never had a bad word for me when I was wrestling. He never, not one bad word when I was wrestling. Then all of a sudden, I quit, and I get all these crazy podcasts of him talking shit. And why he did that, dog, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, he told a story. He told a story on some podcast. I don't know where it was, but he said the story was completely.
The timeline was off.
Timeline was ass backwards, and he said something about Ron was out for like 9 months or some shit, 8 months, and he was riding with Teddy Long and all that, and I'm like, this is wrong because number one, Teddy Long was in WCW during this time. He wasn't even. I sent this to because I'm friends with Teddy Long. I sent this to Teddy. I said, what the hell is this? He said, that's how the boys talk, man. Boys talk shit. That's what he said.
Yes, they do.
Because he said, that's all he said. Boys just talk shit. Because I'm listening to this, and I know the story is BS. Because you're telling me that a guy who you're riding with someone that doesn't work for the company. That's not there. Teddy didn't come into the company until, late 98, 99 as a referee. He wasn't there yet. You were gone by that time.
Exactly.
So,
he's the one pushing the D-Lo story too.
Yeah, and he don't know. I never met Teddy Long. He's old enough to know nothing about me, man.
Not Teddy.
Not Teddy.
Mark did.
Oh yeah, Mark signed off on that shit, man. And Common signed off on it. And I'm like, when did this happen? And if it did happen, why didn't the wrestling fans hear about it? Because if I had stretched Ahmed Johnson in the locker room, I would have been bragging about it.
Well, it would have been all over. It would have been every dirt sheet.
Oh yes.
It would still be a story because their stories are like such and such fought back then and they got their ass whooped, but nothing came out about Ahmed Johnson.
No, I didn't. You never heard that story. I never heard that story until hearing it on the podcast. But it's like the story that happened with Roddy Piper and Kevin Nash in WCW, where Piper went in there and tried to. I guess Piper went in there and tried to be a badass in Nash, and before Piper could do anything, Nash slapped the shit out of him, and then slapped him again. You know what I'm saying? So, but all these people were around that saw this, and they were like, "Wait a minute, Piper's supposed to be this big badass. He ain't doing shit." That's a story you heard about because it made the sheets. This story here, like, no, I don't know anything about it.
And you let it go on, they'd be saying Piper beat up Nash.
Right.
Well, their way.
Well, Piper said he beat. Yeah, Piper before he passed away. Piper was on a podcast, and Nash was like, "Yeah, he's starting to shit up again." He's like trying to say that he did something. He didn't do it.
Got to keep the story alive.
Got to keep it alive, I guess. Like, oh, can you say that I hit you instead of you punking me? Like,
exactly. They just make up these stories, man. I guess they make them trying to get over, man. But D'Lo could never get over. He was never over, man. And I ain't saying D'Lo has skills.
Yeah,
D'Lo had skills, man. But the fans never liked him. They never would take to him.
This is true, actually, because I like D'Lo, but the crowd really wasn't feeling him.
Yeah, the crowd wouldn't take to him, dog.
It's kind of it's kind of questionable. I don't think. Okay, so I'll put it like this: during the time that you were there, no, they didn't take to D'Lo. D'Lo was like a side player in the nation. But when D'Lo had that chest protector gimmick, when he was going for the European champion, when they let him have a personality. Instead of just being a guy that's sitting over here, he became the European champion. He was a champion of Europe, and he had the chest protector gimmick. That's when he actually got over with the people. That's when people started looking at D'Lo a different way.
Right.
To be fair, you know what I'm saying? That was like after you were gone. That's when you were gone. That did the whole different thing. Yeah. So that right there was a whole different story. But then, like I said, you went down to WCW, and what did you because if this was your first time at WCW, what did you think of the atmosphere down there? Was it chaotic as many wrestlers have said it was, or what was going on down there?
Yeah, because they let the boys in the NWO run the show.
Yeah.
Once again, it's like the Clique was in WCW running the show, man.
Well, so that's what they said. That's what they said. Shawn Michaels cut a promo and said, "Don't." He said, "Click north and click south."
Yep.
That's what.
I mean,
what he
said.
You
had Nash, Scott Hall, Razor, 1, 2, 3 Kid, and who else was in that NWO? Hogan.
Yeah.
Now you got all them big names from one of the group, dog. Yeah, they was running shit, man. They ran that show.
Right.
Damn. Didn't miss with that one.
No.
So, do you see a scenario where everything can be reconciled and you get at least back into wrestling? Not even like a full-time gig, but is there a scenario that you could see yourself maybe if they offer you a Hall of Fame, get reconciled? Do you see that happening or no?
And if the fans want it, I would probably do it. Or if the money got to be right though. Let's be straight up on that. The money got to be right though.
Right. I know they do these Legends contracts, but I don't know the details of it. But
well, they stopped doing Legend contract and they got some other name for
that's
it.
True. That's true.
Where they're screwing the boys over big time.
Oh yeah.
They got some. I don't know what the name of it is, but they got some other new contract and they canceled the Legend contracts and started this new deal.
So what did you think about the all the controversy last year with Vince McMahon? Did you see any of that stuff coming?
You know, Vince is a very smooth character, man. If he was doing it, we didn't notice.
Right.
That girl came out and just started telling, the truth, what happened. Hey, I'm going to leave a dog until I see a stripes. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's how I looked at it, man. I mean, Vince had the money, and he just look.
He had the power. He had the money.
He had the power. He had the money. He had the power, and to do what he wants. It's like lots of men would do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just what he did. Just he used company funds, and he was trying to be a homie. I'm gonna pass her to you, like he was passing to John Laurinaitis, Johnny Ace. I'm gonna pass her over here to you. You have your fun with her, and we'll sign these non-disclosure agreements, and ain't nothing gonna get out. But then it got out.
Yeah.
I don't know, conspiracy, whatever. I don't know.
Got to be more careful, dog.
It's like when I was with, I did that angle with Sonny. A lot of people was asking me, "Am I racist?" No, I'm not racist, man. I mean, I'm hip to my flight of my people, but that don't make me a racist. Because remember I told Sonny when Sonny was rubbing that oil on me, and I said, "My mama told me to take trash out, don't bring it in." And she didn't like that, brother. She thought that was too hard.
It's the damn truth.
I mean, as history, history proved you right on that one.
Yeah. Somebody made a meme said Ahmed Johnson knew way back then that she was going to be
Well, hell yeah. I mean, hey, but you know what? You hear the stories about her, about Tammy with because she was with Chris Candido, rest his soul, but she was running around back there. You hear stories running around with Shawn Michaels and Davey Boy Smith, a couple other different cats there. I mean, was that kind of awkward, man? Like all the wrestlers back there knew what was going on. Yeah. And Candido couldn't really say anything because he might have been scared of getting fired or whatever because he had just he's come up in there, body donors and all that. So
you didn't know how deep they were into it, her and Shawn, but they must have been pretty deep. I remember one time I was looking downstairs at one of the bars, and Sonny was down there. And then Shawn came down with Chris. Yeah. With Chris sitting there, she took her leg and straddled Shawn's legs and was kissing him. In front of Chris, man. I mean, I don't know if he was whipped or what this deal was, but he didn't say nothing about it. Didn't say a word about it.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
No. He looked like my boy C Pimp say, "Hey, if you look at him, go with him.
Yep.
You want to be with him, go with him."
That's crazy.
That's wild. Let me ask you this question though. Let's just hypothetically say that when you went to WCW and you had been in ring shape and you was passionate about it, you were feeling it. What if they would have said, "Okay, hey, Big T, we want to put the WCW Royal title on you"? Would you have been down with that, or just like I don't want to be the champion
for WCW?
Yeah,
I probably would have carried the belt for him. I probably would have carried the belt for him because I could see the match I was hoping for. If I had been in shape, I wanted the match between me and Goldberg since he was trying to beat me.
That would have been fire.
Let him really be me, so he could feel what it's like to be me.
Right.
But he got his little, his push, man, and that was it.
Oh, can you imagine?
It would have been money.
Oh, that would have.
There's just so many. That's what I'm thinking about. Like like we have you on here right now. There's just so many matches that would have been money that just didn't happen. You versus Stone Cold Steve Austin would have been money,
right?
You know what I mean? You and Undertaker having that proper matchup. If you had not gotten injured, that would have been money. Yep, because I'm pretty sure they would have probably switched the belt because why not?
Exactly. Like me and Stone Cold, I would have went. I took a pin for him. I would have let him beat me because he let me beat him in Kuwait. So I mean, I would have did the job back for him. I would have did the job for him. For some reason, that match didn't come to light.
That's a shame. That's a real shame.
Yeah.
Do you watch any of the current wrestling today, like WWE, AEW? Or are you just I don't
might
really watch
pop on it every now and then, but I think they're taking that bloodline angle too far, man.
Oh man, we talked about this last week.
I think they're taking it too far.
Yeah, jump the shark.
You know, it's like every match is a main event match. You know, and the boys have to come there in suits and ties. I heard that's Vince's orders that they have to show up in suit and ties. And back when I was doing it, man, we didn't show up with our blue jeans, a ripped up shirt, whatever we had. But you know, I don't know.
It's different business now. It's different.
He's trying to do what he thinks is good for business, having to show up in suit and ties. But I don't get that.
I don't get it either. I mean, I don't. When you, I mean, I remember when they enacted the dress code, and a lot of wrestlers were complaining about it because, like, dude, you got to drive 200 miles to the next town.
Exactly.
And you want us to be in a damn suit and tie and dress in business casual for what?
Exactly.
This ain't the NBA.
Yeah.
You know, even the NBA players don't even dress in that. You know, but I think they kind of leaned up a little bit. You can either wear business casual or tap out clothing.
Right.
That's what you wear. You know what I mean? So I'm wearing the tap out stuff if I'm back there.
Yeah,
that's your choice. You wear the business suit or you tap out there. Get out.
Yep.
So have you had any contact at all with WWE since your departure?
No, I haven't called them. They haven't called me.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Wow. And there's been many a superstar too. Yeah, there's been many a superstar that have gone and come back. It's odd that they haven't actually reached out to you in any form.
Vince like to think he can punish you, dog. That's what he thinks he's doing, is punishing me. But you don't know, I invested my money well. I invested it real well. So, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any kind of, I don't know, residual heat there in the WWF? Maybe due to the way, I mean, we can understand why you left, but do you think Vince is like, you know, I think he left for bullshit reasons, so I'm not gonna push him. You know, I don't want to have anything to do with him because, like, it's crazy that we've even seen Sid come back at one time.
Right.
You know? Right. We saw that
Warrior.
after Warrior came. Everybody's come back. They even got Sting to come into the company back in 2014. You know what I mean? So it's very funny that, you know, when you talk about the WWF, you talk about the history. Ahmed Johnson's never brought up in any of this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I just find that odd.
He's trying to raise the history book, man, but he can't do it.
Right.
I'm your first black champion. Everybody gonna always know that. There's nothing you can do to stop that.
Yeah. Yeah. You are a walking piece of history.
Yes, sir.
And it seems like and it's wild because it seems like so many people try to bury that history.
Yeah, they trying. And the thing about it, he, you know, getting help from some of the boys like Mark Henry, D-Lo, and think about it. Why is it that the three brothers or the four brothers are talking shit about me instead of, you know, helping me? When I got to WWF, like I said, nobody would help me, and I was green, and they wouldn't help me or anything. The only person that tried to help me was Razor Ramon. Razor would stand at the curtain and watch my matches, and when I get out the ring, he would stop me and be like, "Okay, Ahmed, this looked good. This didn't look good. This looked good." Razor Ramon was the only one that stepped up, man, to try to help.
God bless.
You know what? You hear all those stories all the time about Scott Hall. Just like the type of guy when Scott's head was on, and Scott was business. Like, you hear those stories all the time about Scott. Scott would always go out of his way to help somebody and help with just. He didn't have to do it. He didn't have to sit up there and watch your match.
Right.
No.
Right.
He could just. But the
fact that he did it is amazing.
Did it exactly because he saw money. He saw it.
Yep.
Right. And even some of the matches they would sandbag him, like Yoko. When I first came out and did that slam on Yoko. Yeah. We were in the back before the match, and Vince told me, "I want you to pick up Yoko and slam him." And I'm like, to myself, I'm saying, "Damn, I don't know if I can do that." Well, maybe if Yoko helped me a little bit, I can do it. So I went to Yoko, and I was like, "Yoko, Vince want me to slam you during the match." And Yoko said, "Well, I hope you can get me up because I'm not jumping for you." And dog, you watch that tape, he didn't jump 1 inch for me. I just reached down everything I had and picked his big ass up and got him down for the slam. But Yoko didn't he didn't try to help me one bit, man.
And that was a legit slam too, because
very legit.
Luger was more of a hip toss, like a.
Well, Luger, he was only 200 pounds lighter too. People don't realize that he was 200 pounds lighter, and it was more like a hip toss. And when I got a hold of Yoka, he was 600 something pounds.
Yeah. So did you kind of earn his respect by doing that?
Yeah, I did. We became good friends after that, man.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's what's up.
Respect the Yoko.
I want to ask you real quick. Is a question about a feud you had in the WWF. It was with Goldust. Man,
I forgot about this.
Yeah, dude. I forgot who you wrestled, but you are laid out on the stretcher, and this dude comes up and just God bless Dustin Rhodes, just the shit they had him doing, but. He goes and he's going to bring you back to basically the life. He's going to help you. Right. So he starts. You know what happened? Like when you got up, right? When you got up from that,
you can't tell me
some dude was standing by the door. Oh hell, man!
I crushed him. Let me tell you why I crushed him. I crushed him. First of all, Goldust, and we had practiced this before. And he supposed to put his hand over my mouth like this and kiss his hand. But he knew it was live TV, and I couldn't get up and do nothing because it was live TV. So he wanted him for the kiss for real. And then that dude that smashed through the door, I got him because he was too cocky. Vince asked the boys in the back, which one of y'all stand in front of the door for Ahmed? And this dude, I'll do it. I'm not scared. I'll stand in front of the door. That's why he got blasted like he did.
Oh shit! There was a dude. There was a black wrestler. His name was the Alpha Male Monty Brown, right? And he had a move called the Pounce, and that's what that looked like when you slammed that dude through that door. That dude went fucking flying. That was funny. So I just had to ask you about that. Like, would you
completely forgot about that to you?
Yeah,
when
obviously you said
Goldust. I was
yeah. Oh, yeah. And this was a part when Goldust was really doing that Arajian's gimmick, the early incarnation of Goldust. Like,
exactly.
It was, and you being a black man, like
just the way you woke up and was like, what the hell?
Well, you would think that, okay. Like they said a bunch of times, like I know a lot of that stuff over there is scripted.
Right.
This ain't scripted.
Oh
like,
that was
legit. Because you woke up. You woke up. You got the gold paint all over your face. And you just flipped up and snapped. And I was like, I just remember that poor dude going through that door.
he was nowhere near scripted, and I like working Dustin too, man. He was fun to work with, man.
That's awesome, man.
Him, Owen Hart was a lot of fun, man. And Vader. Reading Vader I love working Vader because Vader came to me before our match and he said, Ahmed, he saw us in the locker room. He came down beside me. He said, Ahmed, I want you to land in there because I'm going to land there on you. I'm going to lay him in there. And I was like, are you kidding me? I thought he was joking. But I got in that ring, man. He did that club thing in the corner.
Yeah.
Boy, he rung my bell with that one.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Vader was
legit.
Yeah, Vader was.
And that's another guy. You know what? Another guy. They screwed. They squandered. Look at the monster Vader was in WCW until Hogan came.
Right.
And then look at him in the WWF with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels having a temper tantrum in the ring at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And it's, Vader forgets the spot or forgets to move, and Shawn Michaels like move and just whatever. You know what I mean? What's your opinion of Shawn today? They say Shawn's a changed man and all that, and you don't really hear a lot of stories about Shawn Michaels anymore. So what do you think about that? I know you're not even there. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. If he's changed, man, he changed for God, then God bless him, man. Yeah. But if he's pulling off another gimmick, then I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
You don't play with the Lord like that, man.
Right. I haven't heard any stories about Shine. So,
I don't need. Well, he's like got his hands on NXT now, so
yeah,
he's laying pretty low.
So you run the NXT?
Him and he's got a lot to do with the talent and training them, like coaching them. He's very hands on down there. When Hunter was there, they ran it kind of pseudo together. But now
basically kind of like what's going on is that it's essentially Sean is running NXT at this point,
right?
While Triple H is running the main roster,
right?
Is what's going the main show is what's going on. So
pretty much
it's still the same crew.
The Click is still in business.
Oh, they're gonna bring the Click back with some new guys. You believe that?
Yeah.
I thought they should run the Nation back with some new guys. You know, once everybody left, they should have just brought some new guys in.
I don't think we'll ever see a reincarnation of the Nation. The closest we'll get is what they have with the Hurt Business. That was the closest that they'll get.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a different time now. Just back then they could get away with that, and the Nation of Domination was very close to the Nation of Islam, pretty much.
Right.
Right. So that's you can't just the way the world is today with the sensitivity and everybody getting offended over nothing. You can't do the Nation. You just you couldn't do it. I mean, they changed the Nation anyways when they had Owen Hart in it. But if you remember the original Nation of Domination, it was a multiracial faction. You had Crush in it. You had Savio Vega. You had Farouk, Clarence Mason, D'Lo. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, but yeah, like Black just said, you won't see that ever again, which it sucks because that's what it all comes back to. The wrestling fans are trained to say, "Hey, anytime there's an all black group, let's bring back the Nation. We want to see it." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just all the black guys, but it's like, we can do the Nation, but it ain't got to be all black dudes. It can be. It's called the Nation, so you can do something with that. Sprinkle a little vanilla in there, here and there.
That was another cool dude to work with was Crush, man.
Yeah, Brian.
People, dog, real good people.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Now you said you worked closely with Owen, right?
Yeah, I was close with Owen.
All right, Owen is like one of the most notorious ribbers in the industry. Did he ever get you? And if he did, what was the story?
He got me a few times. One story was it was WrestleMania, and I had been doing interviews with news channels and all the other stuff. And then I was in my room. I got a call from Jay Leno's show. So I figured I'm going to Jay Leno's. I need to go out and shop. So I went out and brought me a nice suit dog, a nice ring, a new watch. I spent bank.
To the nines.
Right. Until, trying to get a new look. And so I'm outside waiting for the limo. And all of a sudden, Owen and Davey comes outside. And they're like, "What you all dressed up for?" I said, "That's the Jay Leno show tonight." They was like, "Man, that's bull. We haven't even did Jay Leno show." I was like, "I've been here 14 years. They ain't did no Jay Leno show." And I was like, "Well, it's where the ball bounces sometimes." So I'm still waiting, but they still waiting with me. And then 9 o'clock came and there was still no limo. So next thing I know, I look at Owen and Owen is crying, trying to hold his laughter in. And then Davey Boy started laughing. Then Brett came out and Brett laughed so hard he almost fell in the bushes. And I'm like, "Well, y'all are so funny, man." Then it dawned on me, ain't no limo coming, because that was Owen and Davey who called me. And that like it was the Jay Leno show. Man, they got all kind of ribs in on me, man.
Real quick. So Stevie Ray told a story one time about, I guess, during a match in WCW, you forgot what you were supposed to do. You forgot the spots or something. You remember that match?
No.
Yeah, he told a story a few years ago. He says, we were doing a match and Ahmed basically forgot what we were doing. So, I mean, I don't know. If it happens, it happens. I mean, you've heard there's been plenty of times where Sting would forget stuff.
Oh, yeah. You can get a match real easy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But, hey, what are you up to these days? Do you do any of the WrestleCons or anything like that, the conventions?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of conventions lately, man. a lot of conventions. I got another one coming up on October 28th in Philadelphia.
Okay.
But I've been, hitting the towns left and right. They've been calling me and hitting towns and making good money,
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
making good money too.
Yeah, it's a good time, especially with everything's ramping up back the way it is, and they're bringing out the cons. It's a good opportunity to interact with the fans.
Because I'm sorry, no disrespect to the new wrestlers, but I just can't get into what they're doing. I mean, I'd like to watch it if they had more of the Attitude Era on there, but I can't get into this. See the same guy wrestle every night, and this guy Bloodline had the belt for 1,000-something days. I just can't get into that, man.
But we on this podcast that we do, he'll tell you I can name anything that happened in the past. But if you ask me what happened on Raw last week, I can't tell you because I ain't watching. Like I remember back in the day.
I'm the current guy.
He's the current guy. I'm the guy back when wrestling was actually for men, and it's just I remember when Monday nights was wrestling, it was must see TV.
Exactly.
And it's just that is no more. I can skip Raw. I don't have to watch Raw. I don't need to keep up with the clips. If I'm watching SmackDown, it's just let me see what's going on with the Bloodline. But now the Bloodline's kind of jumped the shark a little bit. I watch a little bit of AEW. I try to go to as many shows as we can, and that's the thing, because we came to Texas from Cali, so we didn't realize how big wrestling is here in Texas. I mean, we know Divine Eric's, world class and all that stuff, but we just did not know that every single weekend there is a wrestling show happening in Texas. Yeah. It's crazy how big wrestling is. Then we were at the Royal Rumble this year, and there was 51,000 of us at the Alamo Dome.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy stuff, man. It's just unbelievable how big it is here. So that's one thing I like. That's one thing I will say positive about Texas is that it's a big wrestling country.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. It's like church on Saturday.
Right. But y'all don't feel like they're taking that Bloodline angle too long, man?
No, they definitely are. They definitely.
Anyway, and I'll point out. I'm gonna point out something real quick. The flaws in the story. So first, when the story happened, first it was the dudes, the Uso brothers didn't want to be tribal chief. They're looking at Solo to be tribal chief. But all of a sudden now, Jimmy gets beat down. Jay wants to be tribal chief. They go to SummerSlam, have the match, him and Roman Reigns. There's supposed to be no interference in that match from family members. Nobody's supposed to interfere, but yet you got interference from Solo and you got interference from Jimmy, who then kicks his brother and then says the excuse they say, well, I didn't want you to become, as you said it because they bleeped it out on the show, I didn't want you to become an asshole like Roman Reigns. And I'm thinking to myself, this storyline has really jumped the shark now. Like this is like
it's too much.
It's too much now. Like
it's too
first
much.
it was interesting. Now it's dragging on. And then it's like, okay, like you just said about Roman being a champion, it's like we were talking on our podcast about we bring up the Road Warriors, right? And I always bring up the Road Warriors, and I say, listen, here was the problem with the Road Warriors back in the day. If the Road Warriors are unstoppable and unbeatable, why am I going to watch this shit? Why am I going to buy a ticket to come to the arena? Because I already know the outcome. The Road Warriors are going to win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like if Ahmed Johnson had been the WWF champion and he was just busted up and jacked up and intense and shit. I'm like, well, I already know Ahmed Johnson's going to kill this guy.
Right.
So this
is why we need the nation.
Right.
Have you ever if y'all heard the interview from Bruce Pritchard?
Which one?
Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah, we know. Yeah. Which interview did he do?
He did an interview about me not too long ago. And I can't get mad at him because just about everything he said was true.
Yeah.
I was still green. I still had a lot to learn, but there was nobody to teach me. Jeff Mantel go around telling his lie that he tried to train me or teach me or something. I refused to let him train me. First of all, Jeff Mantel, you ain't no main eventer. Okay, if I get trained, I'm going to be training somebody who's been there. So I don't know whether let him hang around the locker room.
Yeah, I did hear the Dutchman tell.
Yeah.
I did hear that
Brother,
recently on this podcast.
he ain't never talked to me about training me.
Yeah. Yeah, he's another one that says, "Oh, he did. Oh man, just he didn't get it." That's what he said. That's all. That's the consensus feeling here. Just, oh man, just didn't get it.
It's almost code for he didn't want to work with me. That's what I'm getting out of it.
You know, I want to get somebody that can tell you what he didn't get it means, because he didn't get hanging out with the boys and being part of the boys was his part of the gimmick. Brother, I didn't hang out with nobody, and I think they didn't like that. And Warrior told me that backstage too, that he was the same way. He would go get a different motel where the boys couldn't find him, and he do his thing on his own little private kick, But the Warriors warned me about that, man.
So it kind of like it basically what you're saying is that they just kind of felt like, you ain't really one of the boys.
Exactly.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly.
That's how it is, man. Yeah, I've
of that, and it's sad because of I know the career could have been way more if it wasn't for
yes.
Like that's the biggest tragedy of it all is that they pretty much hurt a great career.
Yes.
Like it could have been a potentially great career. Like you're already just being the first black champion. You're already in the history books, right? You're always going to be revered as being the first black champion, singles champion in WWE, right? Nobody can take that from you. But it's almost like, yeah, he's got that. But just imagine if the train would have kept rolling and people like just let the train roll. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I find very, very ironic about the whole thing is that Ron Simmons, like I said, nothing but respect for Ron Simmons. I have no problem with Ron. I'm calling it like it is. That's what we do in this podcast. Keep it 1,000. Ron Simmons basically essentially derailed your momentum.
Yes.
But he didn't even get the WWF championship.
No.
Right. It's like for what? Why'd you do what you did?
Yeah. That's why I don't.
You notice how when I left, how quick they went down. I mean, the crowd wasn't getting behind them. Nobody was believing the nation was the nation. And one of my dream matches was, man, I want the team with me and Ron Simmons as a tag team. That would have been devastating, man.
Doom 2.0.
That would have been devastating.
I think they were heading in that direction, but then obviously whatever went down. But I think they were heading in that direction with you with the Nation Domination. If you go back and look at that stuff, that was just that group right there. That group of you, Ron, D'Lo, and Kama as the Nation of Domination. And what you guys are doing, that was an unstoppable force right there.
Yes, it was.
But hey, people got other plans and they just didn't go out the way it went out. So I don't know. But Ahmed, final thoughts for you, brother. What do you want to tell the fans out there, and what do you want to put the stamp on your career here?
Oh, first of all, man, I want to tell them don't believe all that crazy bull that's out there, because none of them guys will tell me in my face what they're saying now. And second, man, I love and appreciate my fans, bro, big time.
You definitely got a fan over
and you got fans, brother. You trust me, you got fans. I played WWE 2K23. All right. There are many Ahmed Johnson. There's people that create you on the game.
Still creating you as a character.
Yeah, I get that a lot. On my Facebook, there's a lot of people creating me as a character.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, 2K, WWE, like, why don't you reach out and actually get the real guy?
Work with the man.
To work with the man, get the real guy so we can put Ahmed in the game.
Yeah,
do some of these classic matches instead of trying to push somebody to the side as if they didn't exist. But that's the way it goes. They can rewrite history all they want to. That's just what they do.
Exactly.
Well, sir, we appreciate you for coming on the show. Thank you so much for giving us your time. This is one of the best interviews we've done.
Thank you, bro.
They keep getting better. So we appreciate you for coming on and giving us your time and telling your truth, because that was needed. We needed to hear your truth today. So we appreciate
Exactly.
you.
I appreciate y'all letting me get it out there, man.
No problem. No problem.
at all, brother.
You got a friend in us, so anytime you want to talk, man, we here.
Cool.
All right, man. For everybody out there, thank you guys for tuning in to the No Gimmicks podcast here on the DFPN. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be back with more. Until then, enjoy the fucking wrestling. Peace.
Peace.
Oh,